So, as you may know, Zelda's 35th anniversary is coming quite soon, and I thought that let's make a tier list. I want to make a tier list of every mainline Zelda game. I'm sure there's some that are being left off here. No one cares about Link's crossbow training, but here we are. So, I've put these tiers as the following. We have Super, Awesome, Bossum, Sawsome, Decent, and because, well, I think all of these games are pretty good. There's only a couple that I would say are sort of but otherwise they're all pretty decent. So I'm going to start placing stuff. I'm going to explain as I go, and I'm going to try to keep it as accurate as possible, but I'll probably go back and fix it up once we've seen what we got. So first things first, I'm going to grab one of my favorite games, Majora's Mask, and I'm going to put it in Super. I think Majora's Mask is fantastic. I really enjoy it throughout. I think all of the characters have really compelling little side stories, and the world feels pretty fleshed out, even though it's smaller than Ocarina of Time and you're packed into only a 3-day cycle. I think that they really made something special here, and also it's spooky, and rolling as a Goron is incredible, and I really like Majora's Mask, so we're putting it there. Okay, I'm gonna do an easy I don't think the Adventures of Link, Zelda 2, I don't think that's all that great. Admittedly, I've never beaten it, so maybe it's not fair to put it there. But it's like, I think that's a gimme. Like, yeah. Okay, another one I think is pretty fair to say. I think Breath of the Wild is awesome. It's not like your usual Zelda game. I admit that. It doesn't really have real proper dungeons. Yes, it has shrines, and yes, it has the Divine Beast, but they're not really proper dungeons. It's more of an open world survival sort of thing. It's not exactly the usual action adventure puzzle sort of game that Zelda is. So it's not like everything else, but I think it's really great for what it is. And I don't think it's, the end all be all, but I think it's pretty high up there. So I'm putting it there. Next, oh boy, Wind Waker. Yeah, I'm putting in Super. This is also nostalgia for sure, because context, I had the collector's edition disc for The Legend of Zelda, which had Zelda 1, 2, Majora's Mask, and Ocarina of Time, and I think 20-minute demo of Wind Waker for the GameCube, and it was so laggy playing the N64 games because it was just emulated on the GameCube, and it was so rough, but I love that stuff. And Wind Waker, I also had a disc for. It was around that time. I fell in love with the game. I think it's awesome. It's different than what came before, yes, but I think that the dungeons in the game are incredible. The journey you go on is really fun and heartfelt because you actually have a couple characters that you care about throughout. Like, I care about his grandma. I care about Link's grandma. I care about his sister. I really enjoy Tetra before she becomes Zelda, and then she's sort of bland, but there's a lot of good stuff here. So, putting it there. Looking, again, at some more of this stuff, I'm going to put Zelda Skyward Sword in Sawsome. Yeah, I can't quite call it decent because it does have really good music, and a lot of the dungeon designs are neat. I don't love the game, but I can't call it bad because it's not bad. I think there's a small chance that we might get a Skyward Sword remake on the Switch, which if that's the case, hell yeah. Even if we still have to use motion controls with the Switch would be light years better than what it was on the Wii, which I think would make it way more enjoyable to play. But yeah, so we're going to put it there. I think that's fair. Twilight Princess. I think Twilight Princess is pretty awesome. I think it's really cool. The interesting thing is people call it the darkest Zelda game, I feel like, but I feel like it's not as dark as Majora's Mask. You might disagree. It is, at times, very literally dark, because you go into the Twilight Realm and all that. But I think the Twilight Realm is really cool as an aesthetic. I really enjoyed Midna as a companion character. And for a game that tried to be sort of, in a way, gritty and real, or realer than what came before, I think it did pretty good. So, yeah, I think it's pretty awesome. Next, I'm going to put A Link to the Past. I just know people are going to be angry about this list. I'm going to put in Bossum. Yeah, I don't like A Link to the Past as much as the other games, in all fairness. It is good, but you should know I don't really enjoy top-down and or side-scrolling stuff all that much, which is weird because why am I called DPadGamer? If I prefer to play games with the analog stick, the world has many questions. I don't have the answers. But yeah, I think A Link to the Past is pretty awesome. It's better than Skyward Sword. I don't enjoy it as much as Twilight Princess and Breath of the Wild, so it's going there. Oh boy, where do we put this? Okay, so Link's Awakening. The standard original Link's Awakening I think is pretty okay. I've played the Switch remake master. I don't think the game is incredible because I feel like overall it's pretty short and it's sort of shallow in a way. I feel like I like the weirdness of it because it's like a dream, so there's a bunch of Mario characters and just strange stuff, so it's definitely memorable and Marin is cool, but I don't think that it strikes me as being all that interesting, I guess. But yeah, next up, let's look at Four Swords and Four Swords Adventure. I think Four Swords is decent. I don't like it that much. Four Swords Adventure is a little better, honestly. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if I call it awesome. I'll put it right there. I think Four Swords Adventure is more fun because it is playable by yourself, I guess. I don't know. I like the idea what they were going for in terms of having 4 different links come together and fight as one, and having connectivity with the Game Boy Advance was pretty cool, but it feels more of a gimmick, and I don't think that there's much to be said there, honestly, because I feel like it's pretty lackluster. Not lackluster, though. We have A Link Between Worlds. Link Between Worlds is a sort of remake of A Link to the Past. Oh boy. Oh boy. There we go. I enjoy A Link Between Worlds way more than A Link to the Past. Yeah, I'm sorry. Reevaluating it. I think A Link to the Past is great, but A Link Between Worlds, I just vibe with it way more. And I really enjoy the graffiti, the flat Stanley mechanic. But yeah, it's neato. I've been putting it off for a while. Let's look at Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time is a very good game. People say it's the best ever. I don't agree. I think it's pretty awesome. Yes, it is sacrilegious to say that, I'm sure. I don't think Ocarina of Time holds up as well as many people say. It's still really good. I just like those other 4 games better. Of course, Ocarina of Time is sort of like the classic Zelda game, and also, if you look at the timeline, it's the most chronologically important game, but nobody cares about the timeline. So I'm putting it there. Yeah. The original Zelda. Yeah. It's decent. It just doesn't do it for me. I never played it when it was new, so I don't have that nostalgia. And looking back, it just seems way too clunky and minimal to be enjoyed. So it's decent. Not my thing. I wanted to have one of these be like awesome, bossum, not my cup of tea. But yeah, so it's going in decent. We come down to Minish Cap. Minish Cap, I actually really enjoy. I don't think I'll put it above Ocarina of Time, but I love Minish Cap. Its thing of being able to go down into the underbrush is a really cool mechanic, and I love the art style. Hard to describe. I actually quite like, I'm blanking on his name, the hats. I really enjoy the game conceptually. I remember a lot of the dungeons fondly. There's some really fun power-ups, or not power-ups, equipment you have. Admittedly, the Kinstone merging is not that interesting, and I think also a bit obnoxious if you're trying to 100% it. But so I think it's pretty awesome. A bit better than A Link Between Worlds. Not as great as Ocarina of Time. I think it's a pretty decent place for it to be. Phantom Hourglass. I'm putting it here. I think it's a fair place to put it. I think it's decent. Admittedly, this is one of the games that I have the least time with, but I think it's pretty decent. I know some people really enjoy it, but it's a DS game, and for me, I sort of missed out on the DS era, so there's a lot of DS games that are just like people's bread and butter, and I just totally did not play them. And this is sort of one of them. I played part of it, I've watched a Let's Play of it, I am vaguely familiar with it. It's decent. It's better than Four Swords, in my opinion. Okay, Triforce Heroes. I have not played it. I cannot really judge it, so as a result, I have to put it in decent. I like some of the music. I have not much else to say there, unfortunately. Spirit Tracks. Spirit Tracks. I think it's better than Phantom Hourglass. It would not be fair to put it above Link's Awakening. Actually, yeah, it totally would be. Yeah, let's put it above Link's Awakening. Yeah, I quite like Spirit Tracks. It is weirder because it's like you're a train conductor, and that's odd, but I am sort of a sucker for the Wind Waker aesthetic, and also I feel like I just really enjoyed that game, and it was a DS game, but I remember getting it for Christmas, and so maybe that's why I remember it fondly too. It's possible. It's not fantastic. That's why it's in the decent tier, but it's like pretty good. Okay, and then we have Oracles of Ages, Oracles of Seasons. I'm not putting them in eh. I think they're decent. It's hard because I played them and I don't remember them. But so I am gonna say that they're better than Four Swords. I'm keeping them together because I honestly cannot come up with much to say about them, but they're there. No, actually, I think that might not be fair. I think I'll go like that, because I would replay these two before I'd replay Link's Awakening, at least original. So that's where I'm at there. So we have a rough, probably garbage in some people's opinion, tier list. Let's reevaluate and see if there's any changes I want to make. Super. We have Majora's Mask and Wind Waker. Yeah. By the way, I'm thinking about all these, obviously quality, enjoyment levels, but also because I've replayed so many, it's like, would I replay this game? And the answer for a lot of these are yeah, but it changes degrees. So Majora's Mask, I love replaying it. I replayed it so many times. I almost want to make a third glitch video on it, or maybe remaster the glitch video just so that I can go back and play it again and do it even better. I really enjoy Wind Waker. Breath of the Wild, not your usual Zelda, but fun adventures to be had there. Twilight Princess, I just think it was pretty well done. A Link to the Past and Skyward Sword. I am sort of thinking maybe I want to move these around. Yeah, I think I would. I think A Link to the Past is better than Skyward Sword. And then decent, we have a lot of games here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to move down Link's Awakening just a little bit. These are they're all decent games. They're all good in their own right. I probably need to go back and replay the Oracles of Ages and Seasons games because I don't quite have a great grasp on them. But yeah, I think that's my tier list. That's about that. I will leave the template in the description if you want to go and try to make your own, and you can share it on Twitter. No matter what you do, no matter what you think, please try to be civil. I know that not everyone's going to agree with this list. I'm not here to start any fights. If we could have a discussion that's nice and civil, that'd be awesome. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. This is a different kind of video for me, and I thought I'd try it because I want to practice commentating without a script, something I am not great at. And yeah, that's it for this one. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you to my channel members for the support. All right, bye-bye.